Your love makes me sing, and your love heals my soul. You know, the Apache have a tradition where when somebody is sick or ill, they surround that person, they surround where they live, they surround them and sing to them until they're healed. So music, and I get healed every time I come here Sunday morning and hear the music of this church, all the great music that our choirs provide. Rick and David, Corral. There's also a saying that sometimes there are times when a person needs a story more than they need food. And I've got a story that I want to tell you this morning that's just been wanting me to tell it all week. I've been trying to put it down and put it down. It keeps coming back. So I knew that maybe there's somebody here that needs to hear this story, maybe more than they need food this morning. It's a story that comes from the native peoples up in the northwestern part of the United States, and it's a story about two people, a family, that live out in the forest. It's a young boy who is about 14 years old and his grandmother who cares for him. This young boy is blind, and his parents died when he was young, and his grandmother has been raising him. And one day, she came and knocked on his hut and said, "Come on out here, quickly. There's a bear just outside where we live, and I'm going to get down your father's bow and bring it down, and I want you to shoot this bear." Now, the grandmother was too weak to pull back the bow, but of course, the son can't see. So she said, "I will put it in your hands, and I will direct you, and you can shoot the bear." And so she did. And she put the bow in his hand, and he pulled it back, and she said, "A little bit to the left, little bit more." And then she said, "Release." And sure enough, boom, he heard it hit something. Did I hit it? She said, "No, you hit a tree, you missed." And he said, "Oh." And she said, "Be careful, we only have 3 arrows. So she gave him the next one, and she said, "Okay, now, line it up. Here you go, a little bit more, let go." And sure enough, boom. "Did I hit it?" "No, you missed again. Now be careful, this is our last arrow. We need this bear. We need the meat. We need the skin. We need the fur. We need a blessing around here." And so she hands him the last arrow, and she lines him up, and she gets him lined up and says, "Okay, shoot." And he does it again. "Did I hit it?" "No." "Oh, you missed. I can't believe it. You have been a burden to me your entire life. Ever since I had to take care of you, you've been nothing but trouble, nothing but heartache. Nothing ever seems to go right for us anymore. I don't know what's wrong with you." And the young boy went into his hut. He laid face down on his mat on the floor, and he started to cry. And he cried out to the Great Spirit. He said, "Great Spirit, I don't want to live. Let me die. Let me die now. Let me die in my sleep. I don't want to live. I'm a burden. I'm worthless. I have nothing to contribute." And then he fell asleep. The next morning, he woke to the sound of something knocking on his hut, on the door of his hut. He said, "Come in." And in walked a loon, one of those birds that lives in the water. And the loon said, "I heard you calling to me last night in your distress, and so I came." And the boy's kind of looking odd at this loon that's talking to him. And he says, the loon says, "Follow me, I can help you. Will you trust me?" And he thinks to himself, what do I have to lose at this point? And so the loon says, just put a hand on my wing and follow me, and I'll walk you through the forest. And so he does. He trusts this creature that he's never met before, and he puts his hand on him, and blind, he gets led through the forest, and it's scary, and he's going up and going down and going all around, and then they finally get to the edge of the water, and the loon says, "Now you need to climb on my back." And he thinks, okay. So he climbs, I've come this far. So he climbs on the back of the loon, and the loon flies up in the air. And now it's really scary. He's flying up, and he can't see, but he can tell that he's way up there. And then the loon says, "Okay, now I need to drop you." And the loon lets go, and he free falls down and splash right into the water and deep down under the water. And he gets disoriented. He's not sure which way is up, and he's not sure how deep he is. And he just starts swimming in the way that he thinks is to the surface. And he's running out of breath. And right when he thinks he's about to die, boom, he pops up through the surface of the water. And there's the loon sitting on the water's edge right on the water next to him. And the loon says, "Look around. Tell me what you can see." And he looks around and he says, "Hey, I can sort of make out that there's some I could just see black and white, just shadows, but it looks like some mountains over there and some trees over here. And the loon says, all right, you're going to have to get back up. We're going to have to do it again. And so he got back on the loon's back one more time. He's flying up, this time even higher than before. And it's even scarier than before. And once again, free fall down into the water, splash. He's underneath the water, and he's again not sure, and he's just trying to get up. And right when he thinks he's about to gasp all this water into his lungs, he pops up through the surface. And once again, the loon is sitting there at his shoulder and says, look around, tell me what you can see. And he looks around, he says, oh, now I can see some colors. I can make out that those really are trees. They're green, and the mountains are brown and different colors. And he says, but I can't really see very clearly. And he says, okay, you're going to have to get back up one more time. And they do one more time. This time even higher. This time he goes even deeper. This time he's sure he's going to die before he gets to the surface. But fortunately, just at the moment that he almost gives in, he pops up through the surface. And the loon says to him, look around, tell me what you can see. And he says, wow, I can see the beautiful trees over there, all the pines and the maples. And he starts naming the trees. He says, and over here on the mountainside, I can see 11 different kinds of grasses. As a matter of fact, I can tell you the names of all these grasses. This is amazing. And the loon says, good, look over there, tell me what you see. And he looks over there and he says, I see my grandmother cleaning that bear that I killed yesterday. And the loon looks at him, he says, then you know what you need to do. Go do it. And the story ends right there. I heard a sermon one time from a minister who describes 3 kinds of people that we meet in our lives. The smallest group of people are the ones who really care about us. He called this group our companions. These are the people who will stick with you through anything. These are the people who will bail you out of jail if you need it. They'll come to help you in the middle of the night. They'll celebrate with you when you celebrate and weep with you when you weep. They'll do it because they love you. Now, the next group is a much bigger group of people, and he called these your constituents. Your constituents care about They care about what you care about, but they don't care about you. These are the people who like something that you like or like something that you have, but they'll leave you eventually because they don't really care about you. Or at least their care for you is not the main reason that they're in relationship with you. So when someone else comes along who can offer them what you offer them, they'll eventually leave. You might know these kind of people in your life. You may have experienced them. Or if you're going through something difficult, they're unlikely to hang with you for very long through the hard times. Those are your constituents. One of the ways you can tell the difference between your companions and your constituents is when something good happens to you and you're happy and you want to share some good news and you walk in and you tell them about it. Just look at their face and you can tell whether they're happy. I mean, really happy for you or not. And if they're not, shut your mouth and change the subject right there and then. Because the person doesn't really care about you. They're not your companion. And be careful not to share your heart and your dreams with those people. You know what I'm talking about? They don't really care about your dreams. They don't really care about you.